Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Now, Steph Curry, he's all-time great at this point. I mean, 4 NBA championships, 2 MVPs, Finals MVP, and now he has a gold medal to go with that. His legacy is solidified. Well, that doesn't stop Nick Young from asking, does Steph Curry still need to take this team that he's currently with without Klay Thompson, with, whatever the roster is this year, does he need to take them to the playoffs? And Brandon Jennings is kind of sick of kind of the hate he feels that Nick Young has towards Steph Curry. Nick Young's like, well, Allen Iverson had to carry a team like this to the playoffs. Take a listen here as things get heated between the two.
Do Steph got to take this team to the playoffs, please?
No.
Iverson has to take a team like that to the playoffs?
Iverson,
why Steph don't have to take a team like that to the playoffs?
how old was Iverson? That's
crazy. It don't matter. He still.
No, how old was Iverson? You talking about 01?
He took him to the final.
Talking about 01?
He took him to the final.
Yeah, 01.
Talking about 01?
Do he got to take a team to the play-in?
No.
Okay, you got to.
You don't got to do shit.
Nick, 4 chips.
This is like a
Got about Iverson.
Some games you got to win without Steph. You got to win
Stop
without
comparing Steph to Iverson. Stop comparing Steph to Iverson.
Can't win
How about
to
that?
be the first
Stop comparing Steph to Iverson. Stop that shit. Stop that shit. Stop that shit.
Can't go for
Stop comparing Steph to Iverson. Stop that shit.
You can't.
Stop that shit.
You can't. Mr. B. You can't.
Now, to me, I'm going to be honest. I mean, it's really not a fair comparison, and this is what I'll say. Nobody was probably a bigger, outside of maybe his family, a bigger Allen Iverson fan than I was. A really big fan of AI. He was different. When he landed into the league, he did not look like any other player that played before him, okay? You can say the same about Steph, obviously, but AI brought us, kind of an element of kind of street hip hop that never had really permeated into the NBA until with everything, even when he had a shortcut, because he came into the league, he wasn't all braided out and all that and all tatted up. He had, I think, 1 tattoo at the time, so he didn't come into the league like that, but it was just his backstory and how he even made it to Georgetown and all that. So he was like from the street standpoint, like the underdog, the guy that was supposed to just be the park legend. Like, man, you should have saw him in high school, but he actually made it. So people resonated with him. And then he got drafted in, Philly. That was just a match made in heaven, for him to go to Philly, kind of a blue collar town, it just, everything was perfect about that. And so some people like to remember things a little bit differently. Now, when it comes to the basketball court, AI had a specific skill set and only certain players and things would fit around him. With prime AI, you had to be one that was okay not touching the ball, okay? You couldn't be an offensive player that necessarily, got your own on a regular basis. Sure, I think, players like Aaron McKee, they were underrated because Aaron McKee, he could go get a basket and he could spot up and shoot, but he was not a top tier, all-star type of player. And so, but he was honestly one of the type, the best that you could put with AI at the time. If you don't remember, Jerry Stackhouse, was already on the team when AI was drafted, and everybody thought, oh, that was going to be a good backcourt because Jerry Stackhouse is a problem at that 2-guard position. You put AI at point. The only problem is AI wasn't a point guard of that day where he actually he wanted to run the team, kind of take his offense. No, he was a point guard ahead of his time, more of a point guard of this day that, hey, I'm going to shoot first, I'm going to shoot often, and we're going to see how that ends up for us. That's basically the point guards of the day that's got to, average 25, plus points per game. that was not the culture back then, and so that I'm sure that caused the rift. Ended up getting Jerry, Stackhouse. He ended up leaving, going to Detroit, but Steph Curry, just for the NBA game, and one thing that Brandon Jennings was saying was like, this isn't Rico runs. This isn't a situation where we're at the playground. You have to build a roster. And if you're building your roster, you go on Steph Curry first. It's really not a comparison because Steph Curry style of play, his efficiency is much higher than AI. His turnovers are not as high as AI's. One could say, oh, but Steph doesn't have to handle the ball as much. He's got Draymond Green. True statements. I'm just saying the type of player he is, he's bigger than AI. And what he does not require the amount of time with the ball, which means more his teammates are happy because they're touching the ball every possession. So I get the debate. It's a fun debate. Again, this is one that I had. I was a huge AI fan, still put a lot of respect on the man's career. In no way, shape, or form was Allen Iverson close to the NBA player that Steph Curry is. I'm sorry. It's just not. Now, if you're talking, talent and his skill, his skill set, he had a good skill set. He was talented. He was super quick. Nobody could stay in front of the dude. He had a wicked crossover. And he was going to keep coming at you. He had the heart of a lion. He wasn't backing down from no one. You can pick spots like Della Vadova, the way he guarded Steph early in the finals, that for the Warriors' first title. No, Della Vadova would have stood no chance against AI. So that is true. So you can point to different specific times, but I'll say this. The things that worked on AI defensively would not work on Steph Curry because Steph Curry and he's so much harder to guard. You ever heard players? I remember Vernon Maxwell, former NBA player, played all the greats, MJ, Reggie Miller. He was talking about how he preferred to guard Jordan over Drazen Petrovic because Petrovic was nasty. He came off screens. He threw elbows. A lot of people said it about Steph Curry. I mean, not Steph Curry, but about Reggie Miller back then as well. The way he would just move without the ball. And that's the thing. You getting hit by Dale Davis, Antonio Davis, and all those Davis boys. And AI, he moved without the ball, but he was going to catch the ball, and then the ball was going to be stuck to whatever AI created. With Steph Curry, you got to follow him baseline to baseline up to the top of the key. You're chasing him constantly. It is a full-time workout, and they say Steph's stamina is crazy as far as being able to move without the ball. He'll lull you to sleep. There's always picks. If you don't turn your head, you might catch whiplash because somebody's right there with a pick. That's hard to guard versus somebody just catching the ball and making a move. Let me know what you guys think, man. Be sure to like, subscribe. I'm going to holler at you guys next time. Peace.